Good morning, everybody. Today we are going to start the new chapter, chapter number 16, light. Okay. So light, if you are listening this word, means you are very familiar to this word since your childhood. Okay. So we will discuss all the properties of the light in this chapter. Okay. So in class 7 we have studied that the kind of image that is formed in a plane mirror, concave mirror, convex mirror, and concave lens and convex lens. Okay, so that much you have studied in the class 7. In class 8 you will learn about the laws of reflections, the type of reflections, multiple image formations. Kaleidoscope means the structure of the kaleidoscope and the work of the kaleidoscope, structure of the eye and taking care of the eye. Then in Braille systems means visually challenged persons can also read and write. Okay, that is you will study in the Braille systems. Okay, so let's start the chapter light. Okay, means firstly you have to know what is light. Means if you are asked what is light, means light is a sense through which we can see. Okay, means light is that kind of sense through which we can see the world, we can see everything that is surrounded by us. Okay, the world is largely known through the senses. Obviously there are kind of senses, you already know about that. The sense of sight is one of the most important senses. Means it is the very important senses among all the senses. Okay, through it we can see the mountain, river, tree, plants, chair, people, and so many other things that is surrounded by us. Okay, we also see clouds, rainbow, and birds flying in the sky. At night we see the moon and stars. You are able to see the words and sentences printed on the page. Means by light only we can see all these things. Means pen, copy, book, the word that is written in the book, the word we are writing, just because of the light. Okay, so how is that possible? What makes the thing visible? Normally we see that without eye we cannot see. Okay, normally we know that, means we feel like that without eyes we are not able to see anything. Okay, so if you are given a situations like this, you have eye. Okay, but in the dark room you have locked. Can you see that? Can you see some things around you? No, obviously you cannot see anything. Means from the very important, the light is the most important things to see the things. Okay, have you ever thought how we see various objects? You may say that eye sees the object, but can you see the object in the dark? It means that eyes alone cannot see any kind of objects. Obviously, without light, our eyes is also useless. Okay, it is only when light from an object enters our eyes and that we see the objects. Means the light which falls on the object, that is directly comes to our eyes. The reflections of the light that will comes to our eyes and we are able to see the objects. You have already discussed, or we have already discussed that in class 7. Okay, the light may have been emitted by the object and have been reflected by it. Means when the light is emitted by the object or reflected by the object, that directly comes to our eyes and we are able to see the object. Only because of the properties of light, reflection property, we are able to see the object. Okay, you learned in class 7 that a polished or shiny surface can act as mirror. Means what is mirror? Means that a polished surface in which the surface is very smooth. Okay, in that kind of surface that act like a mirror. Okay, a mirror changes the direction of the light that falls on it. Can you tell in which directions the light falling on the surface will be reflected? Let us find out. Means when the light is falling on a surface, means if that is falling on this surface, in which directions that will be reflected? Okay, that we will discuss in the laws of reflections. Okay. Okay, to better understand the laws of reflections, let's discuss the activity 16.1. Okay. Fix a white sheet of paper on a drawing board or a table. Take a comb and close all its openings except one in the middle. I will do this activity in the next video. Okay. In this video, we have to know what is incident and reflected, and what is incident angle and what is reflected angle only. Okay, and what are the actual laws that I will discuss in the next video. You can use a strip of black paper for this purpose. Hold the comb perpendicular to the sheet of paper, means this is sheet of paper, then this is the comb, and except one opening, all the openings are covered by a black cloth or black paper. Okay, in the front you have to keep a mirror like this, and from this side a source of light is applied to the comb. Okay, in this way that from this opening the light should pass. Okay, so you are applying this, means just like this. If suppose this is the mirror, I am giving this lining because you know that mirror is the opaque object, means through the mirror the light cannot pass. Okay, so and here the source, light source. Okay, and you are applying the light source and you are striking the light towards the mirror. Okay, obviously the light cannot pass through the mirror, so obviously the light will be reflected, that will strike on the mirror and that will come back. Okay, so from this, the light which you are giving, the light which is striking on the object, that is known as incident ray. Incident ray, the ray of the light from the light source which is directly striking to the object or mirror, that is known as incident ray. And that light which comes back after striking, this is known as reflected ray. Reflected ray. Okay, after striking the mirror, the ray of the light is reflected in another directions. The light ray which strikes any surface means we have taken the surface in this case a mirror, so that is striking from the light is known as incident ray, and which is comes back after striking from the object is known as reflected rays. Means these rays is not directly from the source of the light, and this ray is directly from the source of the light. Which ray is directly from the source of the light is known as incident, and which is after striking by an object is known as reflected. Okay, so now you are clear about the incident ray and reflected ray. Okay, so a ray of light is an idealization. In reality, we have a narrow beam of light which is made of several rays. For simplicity, we used a term ray for the narrow beam of lights. Means suppose if you are throwing a lights, okay, from a light source, means that will not throw only one ray, means that is the combinations of many ray. Normally for the idealizations we use the word only a ray, means incident ray, and reflected ray, incident ray, just like that. Okay, Draw a line showing the position of the plane mirror, the incident ray and reflected ray on the paper. Means if we are throwing the lights from this point, we are drawing a line and we are joining a line to the mirror, and to show the direction of the incident ray. Okay, just like for the reflected ray also. Okay, and remove the mirror and the comb and draw a line marking an angle of 90 degree. 90 degree means that will perpendicular to the mirror, just like this. Okay, and this line is known as normal. Normal is an imaginary line. Okay, it is an imaginary line which is perpendicular to the surface. Okay, this is incident ray which is from the direct light of source. This is reflected rays which is after striking to the object, and this is the normal, a single line which is perpendicular to the plane. Okay, now the angle between the incident ray and normal ray. Okay, incident ray and normal ray, this angle is known as angle of incidence. Okay, angle of incidence, which is indicate as I. Okay, it is represented as I, and the angle between the reflected rays and the normal is known as angle of reflections, and which is represented as R. Okay, so now you have familiar with all this word, means that is incident ray, reflected ray, normal, angle of incidence, angle of reflections. Okay, so what are the relations between these things? We will discuss in the next video, and that is actually the laws of reflections. Okay.